Hello everyone and welcome back to another Corepunk episode. Today we're going to talk about Corepunk and we have got news. So another YouTuber called Morrigan, he had an interview with Artificial Core and he was able to ask them questions that no one else have got answer on, and I will leave down his original video that he made in Russian in the description so you can of course watch it. The reason for why I am actually able to read up these questions that was on originally Russian is because of Dracom from the Discord. He's one of the moderators. He used his time to translate all the questions and the Q&A, and because of that I'm able to read them up. I'm not 100% sure who he actually interviewed from Artificial Core, but it is Artificial Core and he got some pretty neat answers, so I think we should just go directly to it. Question number 1 is, will cosmetic items have rarity? And the answer is cosmetic items aren't going to be split into rarity tiers. The value of items comes from the difficulty of getting them. So basically this means that if you go into a raid, you will be getting some kind of cosmetics that will of course be tied to a raid. If you do it from a dungeon, it will be from a dungeon, and of course then you can also get it from an in-game shop that is pretty, you could say, easy to get. So in that way they will not have like rarities, but you will know these different items is coming from different places in the world. Then we have question number 2. To create a legendary weapon or an artifact, would you need to gather legendary resources? The answer is you need rare resources to create cool items, getting which can become a challenge for the player. So basically, yes, if you're going to create a very rare weapon or armor or whatever it is, it will require some resources that probably takes time. This brings me back to World of Warcraft, where in old days, if you maybe know this Mooncloth, it took I think 3 to 7 days to create one Mooncloth on one character because of cooldowns and so on. So I think we will have something similar to that, where it actually takes a lot of time to create a really good item. Interesting. Question 3 is, would you be able to revive a fallen ally? And the answer is yes, we're going to have a way to do this in the game, but it will require a specific consumable item. So that means, yeah, basically yes, you're going to have some kind of a phoenix heart, not a phoenix heart, but you know what I mean, and where you can basically rest your friend. And that's the thing, because we have actually seen healers in gameplay in the video, and they didn't have a rest spell like we used to see in World of Warcraft and so on. So it seems like even though you're a support or you're a healer, you're not able to rest your teammates. The only way you can actually rest your teammates is by using an item. And that's very interesting. This reminds me back to World of Warcraft again, where we also had an engineering item where you could rest your party players, but the engineering item only had a chance to work. It was like they tried to kickstart your heart, but sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't work. And it seems like they have got the inspiration from the same source also here. Question 4 is, can you change the nickname for an already created character, and how? And the answer is, even though we don't have it right now, we think there should be a way to do so. Now it's going to be realized, and what the requirements are going to be will share later. So basically, if you choose a character name or some kind of a nickname for your character, you'll probably be able to switch the name, and I think that should be a pretty good thing also for Artificial Core himself, because just look at World of Warcraft. I'm sorry I'm mentioning World of Warcraft so much, but it's basically, the king of the MMORPGs. Of course I'm going to mention that game. In that game you can change your character name. It costs money, but who cares? I mean, if you made a character and you want to suddenly change the name, well, I think it's fair that you actually have to change, well, pay the money, for they have to go back to the database and change your name in the whole system. So it's not really their fault that you suddenly want a new name. It's basically your own fault that you want a new name. I mean, that's how the process is. Question number 4. Will the mounts have passive active abilities? The answer was, right now, mounts only increase movement speed and don't have any abilities. This one we actually had answered on the Discord Q&A, but I'm actually a fan of this in some way. I'm not a big fan of the Guild Wars 2 mounts where you can do a lot of different things. So you need this mount to do that, this mount to do this. For me, I just think they should have mount speed. Maybe they could have a bit like Albion Online, where some of the mounts have a small abilities like healing, stealth, and so on. That's maybe cool, but I don't think they should have like guild wars where you can only come up on this hill if you have this bunny mount or something like that. Question 6 is, will the mounts be tied to class or races? The answer is, we don't have mount use limitation right now. We might have some in the future to show the uniqueness of the characters. That would be pretty cool, because in World of Warcraft you actually can get class mounts, and it's so unique because the mount really looks like something that comes from that class, and only this class can actually have it on. So if you're really into RPG, it gets on the next level of that RGB RPG element. Question 7, it's a big one. Will the game have achievements like WoW? I mean, basically, WoW, he even say WoW because, you know, of course I'm going to compare Corepunk to WoW. Will the game have achievements like WoW, and will they give a reward upon completion? The answer is, achievement is a very interesting mechanic, and it fits an MMORPG very well. So we're going to have achievements in the game. Okay, basically confirmed. And even though we don't have it right now, we might work on the rewards for difficult and interesting achievements. So yeah, basically they need, before the game goes live, it's a must. It's a big must that they have achievements that shows if you have completed the raid or if the dungeon on some kind of a difficulty. Let's say the dungeons have 3 difficulties: normal, heroic, mythic. Then we need some kind of an achievement system that tells us that we actually have completed the dungeon on this difficulty, so you can prove it to players, and sometimes you also require another player to have this achievement before you actually want to invite them. It's just like a golden nugget. It's just a must in the game. It's also the only proof that you can actually show someone that you have completed the raid. Of course, if the raid always gives you, the last boss gives you some kind of cosmetic or mount, then of course you can also prove it in that way, but linking an achievement to the chat is just so much easier. So Eugene and the team, if you're listening to this, if you make achievements, make sure we can also link them in the chat. Just saying. Question 8, how will the mail system work? Would you be able to send items and money like in WoW? Morrigan, these questions are fabulous. I like them. Really clever thought about what you had to ask them. I really like this. The answer is, you will be to send items and currency by mail. Also, there's going to be a way to send item cash on delivery. Okay, so basically, yeah, okay, COD, where you can send an item and the person has to pay for actually pick up the mail. That's pretty cool. So, I mean, that's a cool thing that they pretty much confirmed, that you're going to be able to send items and currencies by mail. So if someone of my friends need gold, but he's in a city far away from here, I can send him some gold. And maybe the game is going to have, like, 10 minutes queue time on something like that. Or, in old days in World of Warcraft, if you send a mail to someone, it took 2 hours. And now if you are if you're in the same guild with the person, then you send mails to them directly or something like that. Yeah, if I remember correctly. Question 9. Are you going to be able to craft as much as you want throughout the day, or is there going to be some sort of resource limiting time you can craft in a day? And the answer is, limitations for the amount of crafting are not in plans. That's a good thing, because if I want to grind 12 hours making deer boots, yeah, I said it, deer boots, then I have to be able to do it. If they limit me to say, no, you're only able to play 4 hours every day and grind, it's like, what the fuck? I want to play your game 12 hours every day, then don't limit me to 4 hours every day, because I'm the one who spends my time on your server and basically use money on your game. Then it's also my choice on how much I can play the game. So they actually tells us that we don't have any limitation. If you want to craft 200 deer boots, go ahead, make it. If you want also a full deer head or deer cover or back or whatever you want, do it. No limitations. Do whatever you want. So that's pretty cool. I mean, I'm gonna use a lot of bots and just have a lot of accounts botting and grinding. I'm kidding. No botting. I hate botting. Don't bot. Question 10 is the game going to have a blacklist for the unpleasant players, and is it going to be limited? Yes, of course, we understand that there are toxic players and we have a tool to protect from them. If someone doesn't let you play, you can blacklist them. I think that's kind of wrong answer, you know, even it's the translation from Dragon that is wrong, because, you know, here's basically say if someone doesn't let you play, I mean, even though if you blacklist him, he's still able to find you, gank you, and actually don't make you play. You know, he could just corpse camp you and kill you. And even though if you're gonna blacklist him on blacklist, of course he's still gonna be able to kill you. But I think what is the meaning here is that if someone is harassing you in the chat and telling you very toxic stuff that interrupts your playing because you cannot focus on the game now because someone is telling you very bad things, then of course you're able to blacklist them, as they say here. But actually, the tool for making him stop haunting you and killing you over and over and over, that should not be in the game, because I mean that's basically the thing in the game, that if someone keeps killing you, they will become criminal and lose items. So, you know, so yeah, I think we all agree that it's probably just an /ignore list like from World of Warcraft. That's basically it. Question 11 is, are the OSS drops in dungeon raids going to be personal, or are players going to roll for it like in WoW? Before I read the answer, I'm pretty sure I saw Eugene saying this game is going to have different loot rules. You can have greed for need, you can have master loot, and you can also have personal. So like in World of Warcraft, where you have different loot options. Personally, I'm a big fan of personal loot, so everyone get their own drop and you don't have to like roll for it. But the answer here are the drops are going to be mutual and you have to split it. The game is going to have several types of drop distribution, which might help you do that. And that's basically what Eugene already confirmed, that the game is going to have, you know, need for greed, master loot, and personal loot, and so on. Question 12 is, how hard are the dungeon/raid puzzles that you need to solve the progress game going to be? For example, Destiny 2. Destiny 2, Morgan, is an excellent example, because raids in Destiny 2 is probably the best raids ever made when we think about puzzles. Those raids are phenomenal. The answer here is we like the puzzle and the encounter system in Destiny 2. Good choice, gentlemen. I see you are a good one. We're going to have more difficult ones and easier ones. We hope you'll like them. Okay, so that's cool. We're going to have some very hardcore and some very easy ones. I like that. That's pretty cool. So question number 13. Will the raids going to be difficult and take a long time, or are they going to be more like dungeons but for more players? And the answer is, it's hard for us to talk about the time it takes to complete a raid. Yeah, but they would be a hard challenge for the players to overcome that would require the raid to cooperate and demonstrate their skill. Okay, so basically they say if your team is good to play with each other and they know how to play the game, it's probably gonna be easy. But if it's a team that has to learn each other and learn to play and all that, then it's probably gonna be hard. That's how I read this. Yeah, that's one of the things I'm really interested in to learn about. You know, in Destiny 2, whenever a new raid releases, it takes like 3 to 6 hours and then they're finished and world first. And in World of Warcraft, then you need the mythical clear, and that normally takes like, you know, 2 or 3 weeks. So I'm really like, is the game going to be 2 or 3 weeks raids, or is it going to be 6 hours? Because personally, I'm going to have my guild Blue Blambies. My goal is to be the world first, getting the last boss kill, and that basically means if the raid is going to take 2 weeks, it's gonna be a big task. It's gonna require a lot of time, and that's how it is. But if the raid is only a 6-hour raid, it's basically just taking off 1 week and then I'm boom, finished, and we have fun. So I'm kind of crossing my fingers that the raids is something that I'm able to do in maybe 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, instead of those insane 14 days raids in World of Warcraft, where if you want to really compete about being the best, you need basically to be a full-time streamer, or else it's not possible. You know, normal. No, it's not. It kind of sounds rude when saying normal people, but you know, people who don't live for streaming, and people who goes on job every day from 8 to 4, something like that, like me. We're not able to play 8 hours every day, because you know, then we get home from work, then we have to play with our family, you know, my daughter, son, and all that, and then we have like 2, 3, 4 hours in the evenings. But again, of course, when the raid releases, you can take off 1, 2, 3 days, and you know, you just have to fit it in. Off topic, I'm totally going off now. Question number 14 is, what guild development stages are there? And the answer is, guilds are going to have levels. For now, we have 10 levels planned. Okay, it's like World of Warcraft. It sounds like it's probably the same system World of Warcraft has, where you have a guild, you level it up, and then you have some kind of perks that does some cool stuff. But I don't hope it's too overpowered, because some people, they don't like to be in guilds, and if they are not in a guild, they should not be punished for not being in a guild. So I don't hope it's too overpowered perks, if there's going to be perks. Question 15 is, are the developed guild going to be able to receive a passive buff for all the members, or buy guild specific items? And the answer is, high level guilds are going to have bonuses. We'll tell more about them later. Okay, so level 10 guilds are going to have bonuses, but let's see how big advantage these bonuses are, because I mean, it could be something really bad, it could be really good. It's hard to say right now, but you know, we just have to see. We just have to see. The last thing is, it's Dragon who mentioned this one in the last of the translation. He said, another thing that the devs have mentioned, some creatures and objects might help you in learning more about the world, so keep an eye out for those. It actually sounds like Elder Scrolls Online, where if you keep reading their bookshelves, you also increase your spell ranks and so on. So it could sound like that. If you kill different creatures and so on, it will give you different abilities, so maybe new knowledge about something like that. It sounds pretty cool. So basically that was all the 15 questions that Moringan, I think I'm saying your name correctly. Please tell me if I'm saying it wrong. That would be rude of me if I just started a trend saying your name in the wrong place. But that was the questions that Moringan, he actually got answered, and I feel it's really cool answers. It's for some reason it makes me feel like the game is closer to WoW that I actually had the feeling of, but I don't feel that's a bad thing, because I personally feel that World of Warcraft is the best game in the world. I don't play it anymore, but I still feel like it's the best game in the world because it's so completed. I just have enough of it now, so I need something new. But that the game takes so much inspiration from that, it's just like, it's so cool with me. It's like super freaking awesome. So for me, it's like, do it. Take all the best things. Don't try to invent a whole new genre or game by yourself. Take what's already out there now and make it better. Like Blizzard do. Blizzard, they copy paste every freaking game that gets popular and just risk in it and do something different. I mean, you saw League of Legends, Heroes of Storm. It's both MOBA, but they just made a difference. They removed items you had to buy and made talents again. I know the game kind of is dead now, but you know, still. And I could keep continuing on, but that's off topic. So everyone, thanks for watching. That was a very long video, but I think we had a really fun and great talk about the 15 questions we got answered in Moringan's interview with Artificial Core. So thanks to Moringan for the interview. I will leave down his link to the YouTube channel in the description, and his channel is basically on, most of the videos are in Russian, so if you understand Russian you can go and check that. And a big thanks to Dragon for actually translating the questions. That's very nice of him to use his own time on translating them, so us English people, we also can find out what's going on. So again, thanks for watching everyone. Leave down a comment, let me know what you think about all these questions we got answered. And else, yeah, see you in another episode. And fingers crossed that we will soon get some news about Corepunk, because it's a bit time since we have received news about Corepunk. So I feel like the time would be great now to get something, you know, fingers crossed. So thanks for watching, and see you in another episode. Bye.